it was such a super presentation. I absolutely loved it. And I said in the presentation, who'd like Rachel to do this presentation again, but for your customers to be able to come in and listen to and benefit from. So we had a lot of people saying, yes, 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 that's what tonight is. So obviously, if you are with us in doTERRA and you are building a business, you're very welcome. You may have seen some of this before if you were on that call, or you may be new and it's new to you anyway, which is great. But hopefully you've got some customers to take advantage
Lisa,
of what we're going to hear
Lisa,
tonight.
can I just stop that in? I didn't actually mute the room. You started talking before I had a chance to. So if I mute it quickly, then you unmute yourself, yeah?
Yeah, okay. Okay, perfect. So, where did I get to? Yeah, so hopefully we've got, you know, obviously you're here tonight and hopefully some of your customers are with you. So we're going to sort of put a little bit of a customer perspective in it as well, not just sort of for advocates. So it's wonderful. Let me tell you a little bit about Rachel if you don't know Rachel. Rachel is the founder and principal of the Cambridge Holistic College.
Cambridge College of Holistic Health.
I knew I'd get it the wrong way around.
It's fine, it's fine.
And so we're really fortunate that Rachel sort of chooses to also at the same time as that have doTERRA as an oil of choice and a oil and a business alongside the college that she teaches and runs. So because obviously I said doTERRA oils are the best, so I know that's why you've chosen doTERRA. But as I say, very, very amazing that you're so willing to share your time and your expertise. So I'm just going to hand the room over to Rachel. As we said, if you have any questions, pop them into the chat. At the end as well, after Rachel has finished, I'm sure you've got slides that you're going to put up, but after Rachel finished with the slides, we'll take the slides off and we'll bring you all back into the room like here. So if there's questions that you have that you don't put in the chat that you want to ask Rachel, or if you just want a bit of a chit chat afterwards about what Rachel's talked about, we like to have a really lovely community going in this group. So we'll do that as well at the end. So do stay on for that at the end. So over to you, Rachel. Thank you again.
Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. That's really lovely of you to say those lovely words. I really appreciate that. I'm just going to share my screen now so that you can hopefully all see some images that might be a little bit more fun than just looking at my face the whole time. So let me get rid of that as well so I can do speak of you. Hold on one second, bear with me. Put that up there. Sorry, I just want to change the view so that I can do that. Okay, so Lisa and Andrew have very kindly asked me to talk to you tonight about supporting whole body health and well-being using our wonderful essential oils. So I've tweaked this presentation a little bit so that even those of you that are advocates, existing advocates and have already seen this, it might not be quite so frustrating seeing the same thing presented again. So I've slightly tweaked it, but I've not really changed it that much. So it's pretty similar. But I'm going to be talking about a lot of different things to do with how to use your essential oils, when to know how best to use them, is there pros and cons at using them in different ways, and also how to enhance your healing by using these essential oils alongside other things as well. So the first thing to say is I'm sure many of you have already seen that there's different ways of using essential oils, say administering essential oils. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of those ways. There's three main ways of using them, and then how to know when to use them. So we've got topical application, which is obviously applying it all over the body, just like you would with a body lotion. So when you see the word massage oil, don't think that you have to know some kind of fancy massage technique or anything like that. It's literally just applying it all over your body. And so that's topical application. There's inhalation as well, which obviously says exactly what it is. And there's ingestion as well. And I know that's a bit of a strange one because you're like, oh, I've never heard that before. But I bet possibly a lot of you have already been doing that, even though you don't realize you have. So let's have a look at each of them in more detail. We're going to start with topical application. And as I've said, that is where you are literally applying it to your body almost like you would a body lotion. you would just apply it all over your body, and it gives you a really good all-round application. Now, the beauty of applying essential oils in this way is that you're actually able to treat a large area. So if you're looking at chronic situations, particularly pain and things like that, then this is a really nice way of applying essential oils. The first thing I'll say is it's advised, although obviously, as I'm going to mention in a little while, doTERRA sometimes break the mold a little bit because of the purity of these essential oils. So in general, it's advised that you don't add neat oils to your skin. I would say that as a whole to start with, because everyone's different, and so nobody really knows how they're going to react to certain essential oils. And so therefore, if you do apply essential oils, add it to a little bit of what we call a carrier oil. That can be anything like, it can be something like fractionated coconut oil, which we recommend, although it can be something as simple, I'm going to bring this out now and surprise you all, grapeseed oil, which you can buy from the supermarket. And this is just a really good all-rounder. If you aren't sure, if somebody is using it and they've got maybe a nut allergy, something like grapeseed oil is a really easy all-rounder to use. What I would recommend is don't ever add essential oils to a mineral type oil. What I mean by that is something like petroleum-based jelly or Vaseline, because the molecule sizes of an essential oil are too thick, too large. The molecule sizes of a mineral oil are too large to actually get onto your skin and help the oils work in the skin. So therefore, you're much better to add them to something like a grapeseed oil or a coconut oil. So I mentioned molecular size, and what I mean by that is our essential oils, the beauty of how essential oils work on a topical way is because each of the oils are droplets of tiny oils out of the plants or the trees or the flowers or the leaves, depending on which part of nature they come from. And the little sacks of oil are so tiny. The molecular sizes of these oils so tiny that they actually, when they're applied onto the skin, actually get in through the pores and then seep in, as you can see on this picture here, and get into the bloodstream. And so this is why it's a really effective way of administering essential oils into your body if you're not quite sure where you need the oil, or if also you're not quite sure if you're doing it right. Everyone can apply oil all over their body, and that allows it to get into your bloodstream and start working. It's particularly good for things like pain management. So if any of you are suffering from things like arthritis, fibromyalgia, any kind of sport injuries, anything like that, any kind of inflammation or pain, then topical application is the best way of doing it. Another thing to mention as well is sometimes when we apply an oil topically, it actually gets into our bloodstream fairly quickly, but it also has a double benefit, and that is that we have a sensory effect as well. And so if you are suffering from something like inflammation and you want to use an essential oil, for example, like peppermint or our wintergreen, if that's appropriate for you to use, then those oils are going to give you a sensory feeling. When you put peppermint on your skin, it instantly makes it very cold. And so that actually sends a signal to your brain to actually start releasing endorphins, which are natural pain relievers. So not only is the essential oil working with all its beautiful chemicals in that way, but it's also the fact you're getting that sensation on your skin. It's called cryotherapy healing sensation on your skin, which is actually soothing and cooling. So it's going to calm down inflammation and going to release those pain relieving chemicals naturally into your body. So something as simple as that really helps with overall healing in your body if you experience an awful lot of pain, inflammation in a lot of different places. So topical application, a really good way of using it in general. Does it matter where we apply an oil if we're applying it topically? Because obviously we can put it all over generally, but is there certain places that we need to put it to for certain things? Some people ask me this, if they're suffering with a certain condition, are they better to apply that oil to that area, or does it not matter? Well, first of all, what I'll say is it's a really nice way of applying oils all over if you want to give yourself a little bit of a massage, so to speak, because you're actually releasing those endorphins by rubbing your skin. It's called effleurage. If you're doing sweeping movements to your arms and your legs, you're actually creating a releasing of those endorphins. So that's the first one that I'll mention. But another thing I mentioned as well is there's certain parts of the body where the skin is thicker, or where you've got more pores. And one of those areas is actually the bottom of your feet. They are very, very porous. You've actually got over 3,000 pores in each foot. So it's a perfect place to apply essential oils, because those oils are going to get into the pores of the skin really quickly and really easily. Over 3,000 pores. So that's a heck of a lot of ways of that oil getting into your system really quickly. So lasting at night is a really lovely thing to do, especially with our touch bottles, is just to roll on the soles of your feet one of your oils, or just a couple of drops if it's not a touch bottle, and rub them into the bottoms of your feet, and that will work really, really quickly. And there was an experiment done to see how quickly actually you could test oils, you know, if it was true, because oils on the bottom of your feet, that's like it's a crazy thing to do. So somebody rubbed garlic on the soles of their feet and went to bed, and the next morning they woke up and they smelled garlic on their breath. So it shows you that it actually does work. It gets through the whole of your system and actually reaches from the soles of your feet to your mouth overnight. So it's a nice way of using it. It's also a really good thing to do if you don't like the smell of the oils you're using. Some people aren't quite sure about things. For example, I mean, I love Clary Calm, our beautiful blend, but I don't like Clary Sage as a single oil. So I know how good it is as an oil. If I haven't got the blend, then I'll put the oil on the soles of my feet, because I'm not keen on the smell, but I know how amazing it works. So you can't smell it as well if it's on your feet. So there's a little picture here you can see on the screen of different places where you can apply the oil depending on different methods. Obviously, if you've got headache or neck ache, then applying something like peppermint and lavender is a really beautiful pain relieving combination to use together. Just put it over the forehead and the temples and the back of the neck, and it's a really lovely thing to do. Now, I actually also, I know it doesn't say you should use this, but I actually have about, oh my god, I have about 5 of these all over the house, these doTERRA breathe sticks, and I think they are amazing for pain. I actually use them for pain. I know they've been created for helping with you know, coughs and colds and sinus issues and blockage. I've got hardly any left. I'm rolling it up and there's hardly any coming out. I need to get another one upstairs. But this has got peppermint in. Oh my god, it's lavender. It's absolutely beautiful. Eucalyptus, and you can smell that. Now, this is a classic example for somebody that's got pain, just applying it to the top of the forehead, back of the neck. And I even put it on my back, my lower back, because I have back pain, and I instantly get that sensation of coolness, and it's also going into the pores of the skin as well. So that's another lovely way of using it. So applying it where you have the pain is a really good rule of thumb, but obviously the soles of the feet, because you've got those extra pores, so that's going to get in your system better. So let's move on now to inhalation. Okay, so inhalation is where obviously you inhale through your nose, and the oil itself goes up through the nasal cavity. You've got tiny little villi, little hairs on the inside of your nose. The oil starts to stimulate those hairs on the inside of your nose instantly, and that then starts to send a message to your brain to start releasing certain chemicals and hormones naturally in your body, and within a matter of seconds those oils are starting to work. Now, the reason why I've put a picture of some really attractive looking teeth there is because I wanted just to remind you of any of you that have ever been to the dentist. I don't know if they still do it now, but when I was younger, they did. If ever you had any kind of procedure done where you needed to kind of go under, then they would put a mask on your nose and they would ask you to count back from 10 to 0. I would usually probably, from recollection, only get to about 8, maybe 7 at most, and that was it. Most people I ask this question to, and it's about the same figure, 8 or 7, and then they're out for the count. That tells you how quickly inhaling something directly over your nose like that gets into your brain and then into the whole of your body, that it actually cuts you out so that you can have medical procedures done. And it's the same in hospitals with an anaesthetic, where you'll inhale it and then you're out for the count. So it's exactly the same with essential oils, especially if you use the cupping and inhaling method, where you put a few drops in the palm of your hand, rub your hands together and do some deep inhalations. That is giving you that absolutely direct inhalation right up into the limbic part of your brain and to the rest of your body. So we can see just how effective inhaling is. And it's actually one of the safest ways of actually using essential oils. And it's actually also really cost effective, because particularly if you do it directly on the palm of your hand, you're getting pretty much 95% of the oil going straight into your system. Whereas if you use a diffuser, which I've put here, which is a lovely other way of using inhalation, obviously you're still getting exactly the same benefits. It won't be as quite as intense because you're not directly inhaling, you're having it in a room. And so therefore it does matter to do with the size of the room, the size of your diffuser, things like that. I mean, doTERRA do some beautiful diffusers, but it's worth mentioning that if you want to treat something really specific, sometimes it's quite nice to do that direct inhalation, cupping and inhaling. But if you want to have an oil burning in the background for a longer period of time, so you get a more of a muted ongoing benefit, then obviously using a diffuser is another lovely way of doing it. And as I've put here in this little bit in the middle, for those of you that know a little bit about essential oils, you've got different levels. You've got top notes, middle notes or heart notes, and base notes. And you'll learn more about that as you go along, because doTERRA, we have amazing training, and so you'll learn more about this. But it's worth mentioning that if you've got an essential oil that's maybe more of a top note, like peppermint, lavender or eucalyptus, then that will typically evaporate within about an hour or two. Whereas if you've got a middle or a heart note, something like rosemary, geranium or chamomile, then that one is going to evaporate a little bit longer, between 2 to 4 hours. And if you've got those base notes, those deeper notes, things like myrrh, the tree oil, cedarwood, ginger, things like that, then that will take even longer, maybe 4 or 5 hours or even days, depending on what the oil is that you're using. So it's kind of a rule of thumb. That just bear that in mind when you're diffusing, but always clean your diffuser out every time you use it and put fresh water in. Don't just keep popping the same oil in and leaving it, otherwise you just don't get the benefit from it either. But one of the things I wanted to mention about inhalation is that it's a really good method for treating emotional issues. Those of you that I mentioned at the beginning have been on my emotional course, and we look at the inhalation method mainly, and how much it benefits those emotions, because as I've said, it gets to the limbic part of your brain, and that's when it releases those hormones and those chemicals in your body, and really helps deal with emotional issues. But it's not the only thing that it works on by inhalation. As you look here on the right hand side at the top, you can see that when we inhale an essential oil through our nose, it goes through all of these different parts. Here we can see the olfactory bulb, which deals with obviously emotions, as I've said, but it can also deal with hormones, temperature, even your appetite. It then goes down to the midbrain, which deals with blood pressure, growth, thyroid function, pituitary gland, which deals with things like our heart, swallowing, sneezing, those autonomic functions that we naturally tend to do. Even things like the medulla oblongata, which is a lot to do with the fight or flight mechanism in our body, which if you're suffering with a lot of anxiety and stress, that is going to be something that's really good for treating. But one of the things that's also worth mentioning is that it also passes through the spinal cord. Obviously, as we look down here, we can see that it's going down through the spinal cord. And the spinal cord allows essential oils to get into every single part of our body just by inhaling. As I've said, you know, the dentist anaesthetic, you were out really quickly. It basically shut down in the way that it should, and it affected the parts of our body that it needed to affect. And it's no different with essential oils. And if you can see here, I'll show you the spinal cord in a bit more detail here. You can see that the spinal cord is part of the central nervous system, and so basically it relays messages from our brain to the whole rest of our body. And so if you are not sure what you want to treat or how you want to treat it, then even by putting just a few drops of your essential oil into a diffuser, or even putting a few drops into essential oil into your hand as well and inhaling it, is going to have a massive impact on the whole of your body. And so don't feel like you have to be like so really qualified and knowledgeable and everything to know exactly what to use when. You know, simple applications are sometimes the best way of doing things. As well as it affecting our central nervous system on our spine through our spinal cord, it can also help with our hormones and our endocrine system. And as you can see here, our endocrine system, our hormones are in every single part of our body again, going through the whole of our body. We've got obviously the brain, we've got the thyroid, we've got the adrenal glands producing adrenaline, we've got the ovaries, the testes, the thymus, every single part of our body is also affected by hormones. I know this as a woman at my age, you know, so every single part, and I've got children that are 11, I've got girls that are 11, so they're at one end of the spectrum and I'm at the other. So my husband has now got a man cave being built because of that very reason. we know how much hormones can affect us. So again, inhaling essential oils is going to have a really direct and positive impact on our hormonal system as well. So let's look at ingestion now. And as I've said, you're probably thinking, oh, I'm not sure about ingestion and essential oils. You've probably already been doing it already. I know I had before I even realized. At the top here on the left-hand side, we've got two medications that you can buy off the shelves. One's called Colpamin, and I was recommended this by my GP when I first started having IBS problems. Oh my goodness, when I was in my early 20s. And then we've got a later thing that has been released more recently called Calm's Lavender. Both of these two are on supermarket shelves. Wherever you go, you'll find them around the pharmacy area or around the vitamin area. Colpamin is actually just got pure peppermint oil in a gelatin capsule, and Lavender Calms have got pure lavender oil in a gelatin capsule. So basically you've been ingesting essential oils even if you didn't realize you were doing. And so for those of you that are a bit unsure about it, I know I was, because I'd always been kind of classically trained that you never ingested oils. Now I know the reasons why. It's because a lot of essential oils that are on the market today, there's no guarantee of the purity of them. With doTERRA, we know that's not an issue. We totally know the purity of these oils. So therefore we know that they're going to be a safer alternative. What I will say is the best way of ingesting essential oils is actually by putting them in a capsule. doTERRA do their own. I've got slightly different ones from a company called aromatic, I think, but they're exactly the same. And it's just an empty capsule. You can buy vegetarian ones as well. So plant gelatin as opposed to animal gelatin. I think probably most are plant gelatin these days. It's just an empty capsule that you put your oils in, you close it up, and then you can take it just like a normal supplement. You can actually take that 3 to 4 times a day, depending on what it is you're treating. What I would say is, if you add a little bit of olive oil or coconut oil in with it, it just helps the absorption better. It makes it a bit more gentler on your tummy. Having said that, quite often the best things to treat using this method are things that you're wanting to look at with the digestive system, hence why we've got the Colpamin here. Peppermint oil for IBS is the most amazing thing to use. So we can use now our own peppermint oil, or we can use the Zengest or Digest Zen, depending on which country you're in, and we can put a couple of drops of the oil into the veggie cap and take that orally if we want to. Some people like to add it to a glass of water, and that's, you know, it's entirely for your choosing. I personally just prefer to put it in a veggie capsule and take it that way. But there's lots of different benefits to having it in this way as well. And I've just put a few here. And actually, you can actually make flu bombs and support the immune system in this way, like immune shots you can make and support the immune system, not flu bombs. You can also cleanse the system by using the peppermint, especially if you combine it with something like an aloe vera juice or something like that. That's a really amazing cleansing routine for somebody that's got IBS issues. As you can see, calms and supports the nervous system, hence why Calm's company decided to bring out their own lavender version, because lavender is so renowned for being so good at treating our nervous system. And so therefore, a lot of the time when you suffer with digestive issues, it's because you've got a lot of anxiety issues as well. So actually the two go hand in hand together. So actually putting 1 or 2 drops of lavender and 1 or 2 drops of peppermint in together would be like the most amazing blend for somebody that is suffering with stress-induced IBS. But as you can see, it's very supportive for the gastrointestinal system. And if you do add the olive oil or coconut oil to it, it's even more gentle on the stomach. So definitely recommend that as well. Again, if you do suffer with things like IBS, you can as well put peppermint oil on your lower tummy area and also your lower back area, and you'll get a double benefit as well as taking the caps as well. It's like a double benefit of doing it that way. Not all oils are safe to use in that way, and that's something worth mentioning, regardless of where you get them from. Even doTERRA are the purest of oils, so we know that they're the safest to use. However, some oils are not ideal for ingesting. There's a list that you can look up, and doTERRA also provide one, and it's called a GRAS list. I never know how to pronounce that because I'm northern, so I'd say grass, but it hasn't got another S on the end, so maybe it's a grass, I don't know. But it stands for generally regarded as safe. So when you're looking at the doTERRA documents, you'll see that anything that has a green circle with an eye in the middle means that it's safe for ingesting. And so they provide the list here, and you can see all the different ways they recommend. And if it's got an eye next to it, it means that it's generally regarded as safe to ingest as well. So it's just another way of you checking the safety of something. It's good that they do that. And I've put a link here in the middle as well for you so that you can check it out and read about that as well. And obviously there's a list here as well, but I've kind of repeated it. As well as doing that, what we need to bear in mind is that what we don't want to be doing when we look at health and well-being is we don't just want to be taking a pill for an ill, because that then ends up being like the Western way of treating illness. And what we need to be looking at is more of an Eastern approach, a whole body healing approach. So it's great to do the pill for the ill, you know, it's great to have the veggie caps and do that, but the important thing to look at is, why have I got the IBS, or why have I got that that feeling of anxiety? What's caused it? We need to kind of look at the whole picture and see why it is, because if we just fall into this kind of routine of just replacing a paracetamol with a peppermint tablet or something like that, then yes, we're healing or we're treating in a more natural way, but we're not healing, we're just treating. And so that's what's really important to mention, which is why doTERRA look at the whole body approach. And that's why we have this kind of this pyramid, wellness pyramid, where we can see that if we go through each of these processes, if we look at our eating, if we can do a bit more exercise, we can manage our stress, look at our toxic load, all of these things are lifestyle maintenance factors. Then we move into the more healthcare approach, which is what we're doing now with informed self-care, before we go to, you know, the other side of things where we need to have that intervention and go down the more medical route of going to hospital and things like that. So what we're looking at here is intentional whole body healing. It's all about making a decision to look at our healing in a different way, look at it in a more of a whole way rather than a single way. Rather than thinking, oh, I've got a headache, so I'll take something to get rid of that headache. We need to do that for the kind of like the immediate, because obviously we want to get rid of that pain, but we also need to take a step back and look at everything in a wider way and think, okay, so I keep having these headaches. Let me look at the reasons why that might be. Maybe do I get them at the same time every day? Do I get them after eating a certain food? Maybe I'm getting them when I'm around a certain person, you know? There's all these different reasons why things happen. Rather than masking them with something, we need to investigate and look at the whole approach. And only then will we have real true healing. One of the things I think is really interesting to look at is psychosomatic healing, because we talk quite a lot about psychosomatic illness and how sometimes, you know, people can kind of create things, but actually if the belief is there, and there's loads of research to back this up, that quite often, you know, issues, conditions can have been brought on by ourselves, or we can exacerbate them and make them worse because we focus on them more. We think about something more and it's going to get worse. If you are experiencing some kind of pain, the worst word to think of is the word pain, because then your mind is just focused entirely on that pain. Whereas if you were to try and take your mind off it, literally, and go and do something else, the feeling of the pain actually gets a little bit less. The pain might still be there, but you're experiencing it slightly less. So it's all to do with psychosomatic. Oh, I'm not sure if somebody's muted or not. I can hear somebody in the background. If anyone's got any questions, obviously pop them in the chat, and it's absolutely perfect, but I can hear somebody in the background. So if we have psychosomatic illness, then why can't we have psychosomatic healing as well? This has been proven to actually work when we watch films. I don't know if any of you have heard of a film called The Secret, but if you watch a film called The Secret and it talks all about a lot of different conditions and how people treated it in different ways. Some went down the conventional, some went down non-conventional, and some people combine the two. And what I'm saying is sometimes you need to look at your mind as well as looking at your body, and then we have a whole approach to healing. And as I've put here, the mind is the most powerful medicine, and thoughts create things. Everything begins in the mind, you know, even things that exist had to have been created by being thought of before they were planned and made. So it all begins in the mind, and our healing is no different. We have to make a decision that we want to improve something. Once we make that decision, then we've created a healing process, an intentional healing process. And I've just put here a book by a guy called Dr. Keith Holden, and it's called The Power of the Mind in Health and Healing. Any of you that like reading, I definitely recommend getting that, because it talks about the power of, basically as it says, it's the power of our mind, you know, and how much it has to do with what we can achieve with health and healing. And my kind of additional bit on that is, he said that he discovered that by working with the energies of the body and the mind, one can achieve miraculous things. And I'm saying, imagine what healing could take place if you also added the healing power of essential oils to this as well. We have an amazing process of oils that work in a very similar way to medication. You take an oil in, the chemicals, the natural chemicals, get into our system, and they heal whatever it is we're looking at healing, or they support healing. I shouldn't just say they heal. As we know, some of you may not know, that aspirin comes from the bark of the willow tree. That's where it originates from. So we know that as years have gone by, our medication has been kind of made more, what's the word I'm looking for, more easier to take, you know, than literally getting the bark of a willow tree, but that's where aspirin comes from. So the reason I'm talking about that is because we can heal our bodies with natural things, but we need to create intentional healing. Everything has to be a whole process of healing, not just covering up a pain with a pill. So we can create our own healing environment. I think I may have missed a slide here, or maybe not. I think it might be out of sync a little bit. When I talk about healing, especially in one of my courses, I talk quite a lot about going for walks in nature. We know what a massive benefit to our well-being walks are. You're probably thinking, where's she going with this one? And what I'm saying is that we can create our amazing healing environment just by using our essential oils and the power of our mind. So I'm tying the mind in here with enhancing the situation with the inhalation method as well. There's such a lot of talk about the benefits of walking amongst trees, for example, and I've just put on the left hand side here all the different things that walking amongst trees can benefit you. It lowers your heart rate. These are all proven things. They've measured them, and then people have gone on these walks and they've re-measured them again, and there's lots of research. So if anybody wants the links, I can send you the links. But walking in forests, which is known as forest bathing, can lower your blood pressure. It improves your breathing function, your cardiovascular health. It helps the healing process improve. It also reduces cortisol and adrenaline production, which, as we know, are those stress-related hormones that get released in the fight or flight process when we go through stress and anxiety. And so we know that actually cortisol and adrenaline are a big factor when we're looking at overall healing, particularly with chronic conditions that are around in today's society. So we are going to need to be looking at ways of reducing things like cortisol and adrenaline. And also boosting our immune system. And on an emotional level, walking in forests, forest bathing, on an emotional level also creates a feeling of support, a feeling of being more nurtured, more grounded. You become more receptive to the healing process on an emotional level as well. Quite often when people walk amongst trees, I know I love tree hugging, but you know, you walk amongst trees and you just feel somehow more supported, and you breathe deeper, and you feel your feet going slower when you walk, and it just allows time to stand still just for a moment, and the healing that can take place in that time is absolutely massive. The Japanese call it Shinrin Yoku, and there's loads of talk and videos about this, which you can ask me and I'll send you them, or you can find them on YouTube and things. But not everyone has the luxury of walking amongst forests, and we don't always live, amongst a load of trees or something. Maybe we feel like, a little bit scared about going amongst trees on our own. So what we can do is we can actually replicate this situation and this healing potential by using things like guided meditations, where literally you close your eyes and you listen to the words that are being said, and the sound effects that quite often a lot of these lovely meditations now have, and it can transport you to that place. But the one thing that it does miss when you're listening to that, particularly if you have earphones on, it's really effective, because you then start hearing like birds and things like that in the left and the right ear, but you don't get the full sensory effect. However, you do if you have essential oils, and I've listed some at the bottom here. We have some amazing blends, tree inspired blends. We've got the Forgive blend and we've got Balance blend, just to name two of them. They are absolutely beautiful blends. They have got tree oils in them, blended together perfectly to work in synergy. And when you have tree oils, instantly any tree oil is going to give you a feeling of all of these things I've listed here. It's going to slow the heart rate down. It's going to help with the blood pressure. It's going to give you that grounding feeling. What I mean by grounding is like taking your shoes and socks off and going and walking in barefoot on grass or something like that. It just anchors you. And when you suffer with things like anxiety or stress and things like that, then an awful lot of your energy is in the top half of your body, and what you need to be doing, that's why we kind of breathe much faster, we hyperventilate, we talk faster, unless you're northern and then you talk faster anyway, but we do all of these things because the energy is in this part of our body. We might feel more lightheaded or a little bit dizzy and things like that, and we have brain fog. That's because of all that energy. What we need to be doing is bringing that down, putting our feet flat on the floor and feeling grounded and feeling supported, and these tree oils are all going to help in that process. So by putting a meditation on, that's maybe a forest inspired meditation, but in a minute I'm going to show you some other options as well, and then using a forest inspired oil or blend like we have, and diffusing it or cupping and inhaling before you click play for the meditation, you are literally creating that multi-sensory activity without physically having to leave the house. And so particularly if somebody is chronically ill, this has got such a massive impact. So long as you make sure the oils are safe to be using with somebody, this can have such a profound effect on people's healing potential. And so I definitely recommend it. The power of meditation with essential oils is just amazing. Oh, it was going to play the video then, but I'm sure, I don't know if you want to watch it or not. It's a very long video, so I won't play it. But it has beautiful water and birds, and you can hear the crunching under your feet, and it's just amazing. Transports you back there. If you don't want to do the forest healing and the forest walks and you want to do something different, there's a really great site called meditainment.com. It's a free site. There's certain ones that are free. You can buy more of them, but there's certain ones that are free. And what I've done here is I just wanted to show you, you can look at the, when you go on this site, I'm not affiliated with this site, by the way, I just use it. When you go on this site, you can look at all the different types of walks and meditations that you can take. And you can actually choose an oil that will lend itself to that situation that you're going through. So I've just picked a few out here. What I have got is I've got another visual that shows you literally every single different oil you can use with each of these meditations, but I just wanted to show you a few. So we've got the adaptive blend, which is a new blend that's a really exciting blend that's just been released. I absolutely love this blend. I'm using it every day at the moment. I use it with my yarrow pom. I've got like a almost empty one here. I had a new one that came the other day, and I literally use grapefruit, yarrow pom and adaptive at the moment, and it's lovely. So this adaptive blend is a really good blend. It's called the calming blend. It's really good for if you are somebody that suffers with anxiety and tension and worry and aggravation and jitteriness and all of these things. It's just the most amazingly effective blend, and so it goes really nicely with certain meditations like Fantasy Island for calmness of thought. So it just allows you to feel more calmer. Now I must say, I'm not doing a picture, but doTERRA do an amazing load of emotional blends, which I'm not going to talk about today because I talk about that too much, but they do a blend called Motivate, which I love. It's citrus blends with peppermints, with mint, and it really does get up and make you get up and go. So if you're feeling like you're a bit apathetic and you need a bit more motivation, then diffuse the Motivate blend and listen to that mountain refuge meditation. It takes you up into the hills of a mountain, and oh my word, it makes you feel like the potential is endless. It really does make you feel motivated, and that oil to go alongside it is a double whammy. It's amazing. Welcoming wood slows you right down, as does vetiver. Vetiver is a very thick resinous oil, and the roots of the vetiver plant actually go really deep into the ground, as much as 8 to 10 feet deep, like a tree, and therefore it's a very grounding oil, very good for if you have problems with insomnia. So if you do need to slow down and calm those thoughts and mental chatter that's going on in your mind, then apply some vetiver, either diffuse it or apply it to your body or the soles of your feet, lie back, put that welcome wood meditation on, and again, the effects, the healing that can take place, amazing. Pain management is one of the free ones, which I use a lot when I'm suffering with pain. At the moment, I'm doing really well with that. I'll talk about that in a bit. Deep blue is the best blend for pain. There's the deep blue blend of oils and the deep blue rub. Now, deep blue can be diffused as well, so that's nice. Obviously check that it's okay to use with you, as with all the oils. And then finally, falling asleep, Serenity, beautiful. We've got the Serenity mist spray, the Serenity oil blend. I apply this at night time. I put it in the diffuser, and I also apply it on my body as well. And then the falling asleep meditation, oh, it's just bliss. So you're having a really good night's sleep. So can you just see how much you can completely enhance the healing potential by combining essential oils with meditation? It's a really effective way of using them, and a really pleasurable one too. Oops, let me go back. There we go. We have, or I say doTERRA, we have so many of these beautiful kits. There's the mood management kit, which is an absolutely lovely kit as well. I mean, I'm into my emotions. I love talking about emotions, and so I couldn't not leave the emotional blends out. So they're at the top there. But then we've got the mood management kit here as well, which has got the Serenity in, which is for the relaxation and the sleeping. And again, it may reduce blood cortisol, helps with nervous tension, alleviates anxiety, very calming, perfect for going to sleep at night. Balance is that oil blend I told about, was tree inspired. It's got tree oils in there. So again, the first thing we know is it's grounding because of that very reason. Also gives you that feeling of strength, just like when you look at a tree and you look at the strength of a tree and how tall and strong it stands. Balance is going to help you do the same thing. Citrus bliss is very, very uplifting. Any citrus blend, citrus oil, is very good at working with people that are feeling like they need some kind of antidepressant effects. It helps work on serotonin levels in the body, so therefore any citrus oil is going to be really uplifting emotionally, and also very good for clarification with the mind, hence why it helps with brain fog. And also elevation. These are in the mood management kit. Elevation is another one. Do you know, I've actually not got elevation. I've never smelt it, and yet every time I think I must order it. It's the only blend I think that I've not really experienced, and it's crazy as that. So I have to get this kit, obviously, because I'm talking about it. We do loads of other kits as well. I know that Lisa's going to talk about that at the end of this, so I just wanted to put them for the visual, just to say that getting the kits is actually quite a nice way of doing it, because you have a selection. So when you do the meditation, you can sort of go, oh, what should I pick today, and how do I feel like, what do I fancy trying today? And it's also a more cost-effective way as well. So why doTERRA? I've worked in essential oils. I mean, I was brought up around essential oils, and they are kind of like my go-to before anything else, really. My grandma was classed as a wise woman, and she was a nurse as well, so she used to have a lot of people coming to her for help with the healing, and so it was just a natural way to go to, you know, she had herbs growing in the back garden, things like that. My mum was the same, and it was just passed down. So, you know, it was just natural that I was going to resonate with using these in my career. But prior to actually being aware of doTERRA, the only really reliable name was Tisserand, and now obviously doTERRA's come along, and I know Tisserand has spoken really highly of doTERRA as well, and it's just the most amazing. It's the largest essential oil company in the world, and it's very trusted. As I've put here, its research is second to none. It's very reliable, and the research is transparent. You know, there's nothing hidden. You know exactly what you're getting when you buy the essential oils. The extraction processes are very advanced as well. The training is very high quality and very in depth, and I'm honoured to be part of that when people join me. I was actually introduced to it by Rebecca Bowles, that some of you may have heard of, in 2012, not long after Nathan and Rebecca first started with doTERRA, and I was just blown away by the smell. and the purity. And if you've tried, get a lavender from doTERRA and get a lavender from somewhere else and just smell the two of them, and you will be blown away by how you thought lavender smelt to how it actually really does smell. It's just amazing. You know, there's no other brand of oils I think that I would feel comfortable recommending to people I work with and my students and things like that, because they are so pure as well. So I have no idea how long I've talked for now. I've got absolutely no idea whatsoever. However, what I will say is, if you do want to know more about essential oils, then I obviously am part of Cambridge College of Holistic Health, and we have several different types of courses that we do. We've got an introduction to aromatherapy essential oils, which no prior knowledge is needed. If you want more details on that, obviously get in touch. And we have a professional aromatherapy emotional course as well, which allows you to also become qualified to recommend things. We do a practitioner training course. And then if you do want to combine different things, like I've spoken about, really increasing the effects of essential oils, then you can combine them with things like crystals, you can combine them with chakras, you can combine them with aroma pressure, I call it acupressure, a little bit like acupuncture, but it's tapping that you do all over your body on different meridians, which are acupuncture points, and that also really enhances healing. And so there's so many different ways that you can use our essential oils. They are just the most amazing essential oils, and once you've smelt kind of doTERRA, it's really hard to go to anything else, because you can just tell how pure they are. So as I've said, you know, I'm linked to Cambridge College of Holistic Health. I'm more than happy to chat to anybody, advise anybody, steer you in the right direction. If you're looking at doing a certain course, you know, you don't have to do it through me. I'll gladly give you my time and my opinions and advice if that's what you want. So thank you for listening to my chat. I've no longer gained how I've gone on for. I ought to have a clock here because I teach enough, but I don't. So I'm sorry about that. But I'm going to pass you back to Lisa now, because I know she wants to talk to you about.
Thank you, Rachel. Can I just ask you a big favour?
Sure.
Now I know you're brilliant at doing the tapping. So if I just go through this slide, would you just be able to give like an example of the tapping?
I can actually get my tapping demo slide up whilst you're chatting if you want to. I'll come out. Yeah, if you want.
That would be amazing, because I know that there's some people on the call that would love to see that.
Okay.
But before you do that, can you just, well, while you're doing that, can you just put my slide back on? Is that?
Oh yes, of course I can. Sorry.
I'll just talk about my slide while you're getting ready for that, and then we'll do a quick. How long will it take you just to do like a tapping exercise?
Oh, it takes hardly any time at all. Maybe, I don't know, 5-10 minutes maximum.
Okay. Perfect. Right.
Yeah.
So let me just do this while you're getting ready for that. So. Okay. On the screen here, because I'm conscious that there are some people that are on the call tonight that aren't already members of doTERRA. Yeah. So Rachel has done an amazing presentation tonight, so thank you for that, Rachel. I just want to let you know everything that you've seen Rachel talk about. Talk to the person that introduced you on the call, because we can help you get those at a much better price than retail price. We can help you get it at the wholesale price, which is a bit like having a Costco account. So, and there's also some great sets that we can introduce you to, which means you can get actually the oils at below wholesale price, because we actually have a way that we can bundle these products together and get you them with the membership included in the cost of the kit, and also money off of the sets. So the two most popular sets are on screen. We do the 10 oils that do about 90% of all the things that you're probably going to come across on a sort of a general health and well-being need. And that set's £122. The much better value one is our bigger pack, because you get 3 times the amount of oil in that, and the diffuser for less than twice the price. So talk to the person who invited you. I just wanted to mention that though, because that is one of the big advantages of becoming a member, that we can help you get your oils at below retail price, and actually even below wholesale price. So thank you for that. I'm just going to hand back to, where is she?
Hello, I'm here still.
Okay, brilliant, Rachel. Sorry, I'm really making you do your work tonight, aren't I?
It's fine, I don't mind at all. I'm just trying to come out of this this slide so that I can find my other one. Let me find it. Okay, I think, is that the one? That's not the one. Let me go back in. Just find all my different slides. There we go. I think that's the one. Am I still screen sharing or not?
No.
Okay, right. Let me go back to screen share. Let me, hopefully it will work. You have to bear with me. I'm not going to do a sing and a dance while I'm talking. There we go. So share screen and go in. There we are. Okay, slideshow from current. Okay, so I spoke about EFT, which is acupressure, which is tapping, it's called aroma pressure, and it's actually tapping on different acupuncture points whilst you use essential oils. And you're also going to work with the left and the right brain, because can you all see this slide, by the way? I'm whittering, yeah, that's perfect, whittering on, and you might not even be able to see it.
Yeah.
So it's working with the left and the right brain, and it's bringing everything back into
balance. Put my dressing gown on, wet there.
Oops, it's bringing it back into balance. And as you can see here, I mean, there are loads of different ways that EFT can help. It's called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, and it can work on pain relief, emotional issues, blood pressure, all sorts of things, depression, anxiety. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick demonstration for you. And if you want to follow along with me, then that is fantastic, particularly if you're sat here right now watching this and you can feel some kind of pain or some kind of emotion. So you might be feeling really bored of listening to me. You might be feeling agitated or excited because you can't wait to start, or you might be having pain somewhere. So if you have some kind of sensation, emotional or physical, if you've got a pen and paper to hand, if you haven't, just try and remember it. Give it a number between 0 being nothing at all and 10 being really, really excruciatingly painful. Give it a number. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you some acupressure points that you tap on, and that's then going to work on that condition. Okay, so when you're using it with oils, you would choose an oil that's related to the physical issue that you're suffering with, or the emotional issue. You would apply it to your hands first of all, and then your neck and chest area. I sometimes do it to the back of my neck as well as the front of my neck, and you can inhale it as well if you like to, and then you begin the EFT technique. Okay, right, so I'll use it here. So what we do first of all is we tap. We think about the pain that we're experiencing and where we're experiencing it, and we tap on something which is called the karate point, which is at the side of the hand. You use 2 fingers and you tap quite hard. So if any of you can hear that, I don't know if you can hear, but I'm tapping quite hard. Okay, and you think of the sensation. So let's say it's back pain. Okay, so you say, even though I'm experiencing this sharp stab in my lower back, it's okay. Even though I'm experiencing this sharp stab in my back, it's okay. Even though I'm experiencing this sharp stab in my back, it's okay. And I hope so. I can't see the screen, but I hope some of you are doing this because you'll really benefit from it. And then you're going to move up to the top of your head and you're going to say, sharp stabbing pain. Let me take my glasses off. And keep tapping, sharp stabbing pain. And then you're going to tap in the eyebrow, inner eyebrow, sharp stabbing pain, sharp stabbing pain. Then you're going to tap the outer eyebrow, sharp stabbing pain, sharp stabbing pain. And then you're going to move to under the eye and you're going to say where it is, in my lower back, in my lower back. Then you're going to do the Cupid's bow above your lip, in my back, in my back. And then you're going to tap on the chin, in my back, in my back. And then you're going to tap here, which is known as the sore spot. And it's an area that's quite tender when you press it. You can either rub it or you can tap it. And you can go sharp stabbing pain in my back. And then you're going to tap under your arms. You probably think I'm losing the plot here. Sharp stabbing pain in my back. Now you're going to change the words and you're going to say, I'm letting it go. And when you do that, you're going to tap the outside of every single one of your fingernails. Okay, so the finger, not the nail. And you're going to go, I'm letting it go. The outside, I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. So once you've done that on each of the fingers, you then move down to this area here, which is kind of in between the little finger and the ring finger, and it's in the middle, and you tap there and you say, I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take a deep breath in and out. And you're going to look to the front, keeping your head still while still tapping. You're going to look down one way and then straight up again. And then you're going to look down another way and straight up. This is working on the left and the right side of the brain. Then you're going to roll your eyes around one way and you're going to roll your eyes around another way. And then what you're going to do is you're going to count to 5. This is working on the logical side of your brain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to hum tunes like Happy Birthday. And you're going to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now stop, take a deep breath in and out. Now what you should do is you should be feeling really tingly. Focus on that sensation you had before, the pain or the emotional feeling, and just give it a number. And has anyone here, I don't know if I can see anybody or not, has anyone here, has the pain sensation gone down? Has it changed? Has it moved? Has the emotion changed? There will be some kind of change that has taken place in your body, and you'll probably be feeling very tingly now, because what you've done is you've moved the energy around in your body. You've been working on the left and the right side of the brain and creating balance, and by using the essential oils alongside that as well, which you haven't done tonight, but you learn to do that, that will also be effectively working as well. You're creating intentional healing, and it just has a massive impact on the capacity of healing that can take place. So that's in a nutshell. I mean, it's far deeper than that. You go through a lot of different things when you do this, but that's just an example of EFT tapping. Did anyone have any pain that went or anything, or maybe
have a look in your chat. So Carol said she had pain, it's gone, and she feels now released.
Wow, excellent. Pain has gone, I feel released. Patricia, lots of tingling. Yes, that's the energy moving through your body. Oh, I've just finished a tapping session this evening. It was fabulous. Fantastic, Hayley. Oh, do you know, it's just brilliant when you hear this, because the thing is, the beauty of all of this is that we have so much healing potential within us if we use certain tools as well, like the oils. And, you know, we don't need to be looking externally. Everything we need, we've got. We just need to know how to use it. Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
No, my absolute pleasure.
If you can turn your video off, we can go back into the room.
Oh yes, of course.
That's
I will.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, that was absolutely amazing, and we're still getting loads more great feedback in there.
Oh, good.
Thank you so much, Rachel.
No, my pleasure.
Great presentation, and I know that lots of people will have. People have been looking into tapping. There's so much research now, isn't there, into, you know, and people that are sort of being really helped and supported with, and there's nothing worse than pain, having pain in your body, and if you can find a natural way in which to be able to help and support, that's absolutely amazing.
No, I have to say that I was diagnosed with degenerative disc disease about 1.5 years ago. I went for an MRI scan because I fell off a horse when I was about 7 or 8, and I damaged my spine, and I didn't know at the time the extent of the damage I'd had. All my life I've had back pain. Never realised what the cause or what the root cause was it really. And then because I just had enough of it, I just went to the doctor. I tried everything, and I just thought, I can't, you know, this was pre doTERRA, knowing too much about like the supplements and things like that, because I've always been a bit snobby with my training, and I've always kind of had an issue with ingesting oils, as I mentioned before. And so really I've focused on using the essential oils and not the supplements. Oh my word, I have to tell you really quickly that I have been taking the daily essentials kit, and the I've been having the what's the gosh, what's the name of it now? Oh my word, I should have brought them down. I got 3 products. I'm going to bring them down. I'm going to go upstairs a minute and bring it down before this ends. And I tell you, my pain has literally gone from pretty much on some days a 9 or a 10, and I was taking so much stuff, to virtually probably a 1 or a 2, and some days.
Is it the Lifelong Vitality, or?
I'm taking the Lifelong Vitality. I'm not having all 3 of them. I'm taking the one that, and it's upstairs, and I need something with a brain fog. I've been teaching all day, so I'm like, I'm really sorry. But it's the essential oil complex. It's another one, and it's some. Oh, I need to go and get them. I need to go and get them.
DDR
Thank
Prime.
you. That's it. DDR Prime. Thank you. It's the DDR Prime.
Amazing.
Oh my goodness, I cannot tell you. And that is amazing. So anybody that suffers with lots of pain caused by inflammation, you know, please just try and just give them a go, because I've given it a second go and I'm blown away with it. I really am. The girl said to me, "Mummy, you've not said about your pain since lockdown." That was the reason why. Amazing.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I'll shut up now.
So elevation that you still need to get, Rachel. Yes. Nicole is saying it's helped her mother with severe depression.
Oh,
so that's amazing. That's great to hear. Just looking through some of the comments.
Really? Okay, link from the forest baby.
I think somebody's asked about the link. Yeah, I don't know whether you have that. You can put it in the comments. If not, maybe in the group, whichever.
I'll put that in the group. I'll put the link to the video in the group, because there's a few, and there's some that are a bit strange, a bit annoying with strange voices, but there's some that are really lovely, so I'll put those in. Yeah,
can you put them into the Very Essence group as well?
Yeah, of course I will.
Great.
The stick I was using was the Breathe stick. Can you see that there? Yeah. This is the one, and then if I open it up, I mean, oh, it's come up to the top now. I've been squeezing it for so long. That I have about 5 of those around the house, because they are amazing for pain. Although it says Breathe, they are amazing for pain. So, and I also carry them in my bag as well, because they transport really well.
Brilliant. Yeah. Somebody who signed in as iPhone says my lower right side back is more relaxed.
Oh, brilliant.
But they're in here as iPhone.
Excellent. Oh, that's fantastic.
Brilliant. Loving the tapping. Wonderful.
Oh, brilliant.
Obsession. Yeah, look. Everyone loves you.
I'm feeling the love. Thank you.
Oh, Shirley, it's Shirley on the iPhone. That's brilliant, Shirley, because I know that you've been having issues. So to hear that is great. Brilliant. So are there any other questions before we sign off this evening? Everyone happy? Great presentation.
Oh,
great to see everyone this evening. So
if anyone has any questions afterwards that they're not thinking of, you know, they can't think till after, then, you know, put them in either of the groups, you know, Andy's group, Sue's group, and you know, either me or somebody who's equally as knowledgeable, I'm sure, will answer them as well, because that's the beauty of doTERRA. There's always people that are happy to help each other out, so do that.
Yeah,